Welcome everyone to Think Outside the Box, a deep dive. Just a reminder, this is part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class.
Hello, and today we're looking at a really interesting spoken word piece. It's titled Awake, but Not Woke.
Yeah, it's quite a title. Our plan is to unpack that distinction the author is making, between awake and woke.
Right, and what that distinction might suggest about how we engage with things happening around us. It's definitely a personal perspective on the word woke and how it's perceived now.
Okay, so the author kicks things off right away. Awake, but not woke. That sets up the contrast. So what did woke originally signify for them? What was that starting point?
Well, initially they paint a pretty positive picture, actually. Terms like aware, sharp-eyed, heart-open, truth seeker.
So quite active qualities then. Engaged.
Exactly. It sounds like it represented a state of, genuine awareness and really wanting to understand things.
Okay, but then the author's argument is that this meaning, it changed. How do they see that shift happening?
Yeah, they argue it shifted quite dramatically. It became a meme, a punchline, even weaponized is the word they use.
Weaponized?
Yeah. The feeling is it got sort of flattened out, lost its depth, maybe painted neon by pundits, as they say. Less nuance.
Right, nuance gets lost. And didn't they also have a point about the actual grammar of the word woke? That was interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating observation. They call it a past tense verb masquerading as a present state of mind.
Explain that a bit.
Well, the idea that saying I am woke sounds grammatically off, like awareness is a fixed state you achieve rather than, something ongoing.
Like a process. Yeah, I see. It does make you think about how language shapes our view of these ideas.
Definitely.
So if they're distancing themselves from woke, what does the author say they are awake to? What are they focusing on instead?
They're pretty specific. They mention being awake to injustice, to hypocrisy, and to the tightrope walk of being human in a world that runs on spin.
So more grounded in concrete realities and complexities.
Seems that way. Less about the label, more about the actual issues and the difficulty of navigating them.
And what specific things associated with being woke, as they see it, do they explicitly reject?
They push back against what they frame as superficial elements. Things like buzzwords, the tribal hand signals, that idea of a virtue badge printed in Comic Sans.
Comic Sans. Okay, so rejecting the performative side of it.
That seems to be the core of it, yeah. Things that might look like engagement but lack substance, perhaps.
And they go further, right? Listing characteristics they associate with this version of woke that they disagree with.
Yes, they offer critiques like loud but lazy or offended but uninformed, and also performing empathy with no receipts.
No receipts. So claiming empathy without demonstrating it.
That's the implication. A critique of maybe prioritizing the outward show over, genuine understanding or action.
Okay, so on the flip side, what about being awake? What positive qualities does the author connect with that state?
Being awake for them is described as quietly, relentlessly awake. It's about action, but maybe different kinds of action.
Like what?
Like, doesn't just tweet, but teaches. Listens more than lectures. And instead of canceling, it questions, confronts, creates. So more about constructive engagement.
Listening, creating. That sounds quite different. So how do they finally sort of sum up this comparison? Woke versus awake.
They use these really punchy contrasts, like woke is trendy, awake is timeless.
Okay.
Woke is hashtags, awake is healing.
Healing. Interesting.
And woke is look at me, awake is look at that. It really emphasizes that view of woke as maybe temporary, self-focused, versus awake as enduring and outward-looking.
Look at me versus look at that. That's a stark difference in focus. And what's the final message? The call to action, if you will.
The final thought is a call to rise, not just woke, but wise.
Rise. Wise. So moving beyond just awareness to include understanding, judgment.
Exactly. Suggesting that real change, real progress, needs that deeper element of wisdom and considered action, not just the initial spark of awareness.
Well, that certainly gives you a lot to chew on, thinking about the words we use and what they really mean for how we act in the world.
Absolutely. It's a powerful piece.
So that wraps up our deep dive into awake, but not woke. Remember, this exploration was brought to you as part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class.
And if you have thoughts on this, or maybe questions about the piece or the Teacher Victoria ESL class itself, feel free to drop Teacher Victoria a message.
Thanks for tuning in.